obviously you haven't pitched in a while. 11 days rest, I think it'll be. Is that something that at this stage in this particular season would be good? I know typically you guys obviously like to work on a regular basis, but in this situation, how do you look at that?
I really try not to focus on it. I mean, it could have its pluses and minuses. So yeah, I really don't. I try not to think about it. I'm the hope is that I just feel really good, well rested and really good.
And what did you do in the time in between? I don't think you threw any of the simulated innings that we were aware of. Did you throw some bullpens or?
Yeah, I threw some bullpens. Cause yeah, I mean, I was still slotted to throw that third game.
Right.
I mean, I guess we could have worked in something, but we opted to just stick with bullpens.
Gotcha. So maybe like 3 in between or something total?
I don't remember. Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry.
And one other question is, obviously there could be a 1-1 or a 2-0 situation tomorrow. Given your experience, do you also block that out, or tomorrow, or is the challenge to not let that affect your preparation tomorrow?
Yeah, it won't affect my preparation. It won't affect my routine. It really won't affect much of anything except for me. I'll be aware of it. I'll be aware of the situation. There's no avoiding it. I mean, unless you're not paying attention and you're in a vacuum and they just throw you out there on the mound and you land there and you're completely oblivious to everything that's going on around you. So certainly those things affect you. Yeah, I mean, you pitch in a no-lose situation, you got to win, no tomorrow. Yeah, certainly. I mean, those things they'll get you amped up and they'll play a factor. I mean, it could be a good thing. It could be, for some people it could be a good thing. For some people it could be a bad thing.
Hey, Charlie, how's it going? What are kind of your thoughts on that lineup and just kind of this tear that they're on lately?
Yeah, I tend to not look at teams like a streak that they're on. I don't like to look at teams as a group. I don't, because I think then when you're doing that, one batter's tendencies might perceptually leak into the way you perceive another batter when that information might not be applicable. So I really just try to look at individuals and what they've been doing. And that's how I go about scouting a team. The guys over there have been nothing but challenging for a few years now, where I've consistently pitched against them, or I've pitched against them multiple times. So I expect nothing but professional at bats. Guys that are hungry, wanting to score, wanting to, do what they have to do to put runners across the plate. And, and that's pretty much it. I think they have a great lineup, a tough lineup, and, you gotta know, you have to have a pretty good idea of what they've been doing, what they've been trying to do, and, and just work your game.
Charlie, knowing how good their lineup is, how important is the establishment of your breaking pitches early in the game in the strike zone to force them perhaps to chase later?
I don't know. I mean, it's not for me when I'm looking at hitters. I don't necessarily look at what I'm going to have to do to make them chase. That's because the assumption there is that you set them up, and then presumably you execute a pitch, and the result will be that they'll swing at a pitch out of the zone, either inducing weak contact or swing and miss. That's just for me. I don't really think that way too much, because for the most part, especially with this group, the group over there, they're pretty disciplined. I don't see a ton of chase, like an abnormally high amount of chase on really most of their guys. So that's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more of what pitches can I throw that are most effective in any given count. So that's really I don't really do a lot of I don't really chase the chase. I don't really do that unless it's, you know, maybe it's a younger guy, you know, maybe it's a more aggressive hitter. Maybe guys with running and scoring position that come up and they're swinging at balls, you know, they wouldn't normally be swinging at. I don't see a lot of that over there, and I typically you wouldn't see that with most balanced and professional lineups. And I don't mean professional. I just mean, you know, in the sense that like a true pro hitter, and they have a lot of those guys over there. They do a really good job.
Charlie, there are a few guys in the history of baseball that have the numbers you do when everything is on the line. And regardless of tomorrow, whether it's 1-1 or facing elimination, do you allow yourself to embrace what you have been able to do in the biggest moments? And does that help you to prepare for a game like this?
I guess it helps me going forward to really just kind of put a lot of the doubt behind me, because I know that I've done it multiple times. So the idea that I don't know if I'm capable of doing it or not, that's for me has been put to bed in my mind. I know that I'm capable of doing it, going out and doing a good job in a high pressure situation. But on the flip side of that, that doesn't really that doesn't necessarily make a start like that any different than before. I mean, like you can't just presume things about that in the future. I mean, you know, I mean, in theory, I guess you could throw me out there and say this guy's, you know, whatever in elimination games as a 60-year-old, and I'm out there, you know, giving up 20 tanks in the first inning. Like it applies to the mentality of the situation, right? It's like, because you know that you've done it before and that you're actually capable of doing it. So like I said, like the doubts a lot of the doubts are put behind you.
All right, we'll take any additional questions for Charlie.
Hey, Charlie, this is Barry Bloom from Sportico. How are you?
Good, how are you?
So looking back at your record, you're 3-0 with like a 2 ERA at Petco, and if I'm remembering correctly, that was most of your time when you were with the Pirates, right?
Yeah, so I think the first time I pitched against the Padres here was 2008, and I threw against Greg Maddux. And if I remember correctly, Maddux got on base. I can't remember if I walked him or if he got a hit or some, I don't know, but he wound up stealing a base off of me. And I think at the time, he was either the oldest, I think he was the oldest pitcher to have ever stolen a base. So that's what I remember about the first time I pitched against the Padres there in 2008.
So the question I have is, you remember back in the day when the fences were further out and the atmospheric conditions were a lot different here? I think a lot of it has to do with all the building that's gone on around it. You couldn't hit home runs here. It was a very tough hitter's park. Now you're in a situation where, look at the game last night where you had 6 home runs and the ball is just jumping out of the ballpark everywhere. What do you think about that? And what kind of adjustments do you have to make?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm assuming that the common denominator in all of those home runs was exit velocity, right? So like speed and launch angle direction. Like, I mean, I didn't see any ball that was hit out yesterday that would have changed depending on the park that it was hit in. I don't really think about those things. I think like I used to pitch a lot because I was with the Pirates a long time. I used to pitch a lot in Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. And in my mind at the time, I was throwing a lot of sinkers. I was throwing a lot of fastballs, a lot of sinkers, getting a lot of ground balls and line drives. And I thought it might have played to my advantage to be in a smaller park. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. The goal is to induce weak contact or get swings and misses. So it's not going to change depending on what park I'm pitching at.
I don't know, back in the day, exit velocity wasn't even mentioned, and the ball just died at Petco. I mean, it doesn't matter how hard you hit it. So
True.
I'm interested.
Well, right, but I mean, of course it matters though. Like, of course exit velocity matters, right? And there's been some other factors that have changed. The ball's a little bit different, and the approaches of hitters are different. Guys are trying to hit home runs. You see a lot more swing and miss. You see a lot more strikeouts. You see a lot more fly balls and home runs. I think all those things are factors. I'm not sure that it's just, atmospheric changes or the dimensional changes.
I want to get to Ronald before we run out of time.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Welcome.